Welcome to our first podcast of Pari Sanaa. Couple of words recorded here at Cosmo Studio. In this series, we aim to delve deeper, explore multiple topics and dimensions, and open new horizons to get ourselves immersed in a variety of topics, hoping to address them and to create an intellectual environment teeming with critical thinking and resilience. This program is part of a project funded by the SKR, Suomen Kulttuurirahasto, the Finnish Cultural Foundation. The project will result in a poetry prose book inspired by multimedia, including this podcast, and based on a series of interviews with different ethnic groups living in Turku. Through these conversations, we try to bridge gaps and gain a better understanding and foster a sense of belonging on multiple levels. Today, we have our guest, Juhis. So let's together welcome Juhis. Welcome Juhis to our show. You are the first guest to.
Thank you. That's a privilege. Thank you.
I'm a privilege to have you here.
Well, it's
By
nice
the
to
way,
meet.
we are friends.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I would say that. Yes.
Yes. And I would like, drawing on my experience of knowing you, I would like to start the show by asking you questions regarding like the theme of the whole world is my home. The whole world is my home. Juhis, I have known you for more than 3 years. Is it correct?
Yeah, something like this. Yes.
Something like this. As a Finnish individual who has traveled extensively, always choosing the most ecological means possible, friendly to the environment. Beside that, I have known you like a person who shown a deep passion for exploring cultures and being part of a universal community, universal entity, bigger thing. But at the same time, this is very important. You operate very well within the local sphere, practicing and promoting Finnish culture, what Finland is mostly known for, like Finnish sauna and ice hockey, chilling with the friends at Mökki. Did I pronounce it correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Mökki.
Lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, the Finnish summer cupping. So the question is, how can you do that?
Yeah, that's a very broad question, but yeah, where should I start? Well, first of all, I have to mention that it's a privilege to be from the economical background and the cultural background that I am from. So I have the privilege to, for example, travel already when I was younger. So I would say that new cultures, religions, people, they may become easier and smoother for me than for most people that didn't have this chance of experience when I was, for example, what I had when I was younger. So it's kind of like they say that you're throwing in the melting pot. So you see different cultures, religions, people, habits, environments. But in the end, I wouldn't call it a balance. I think it's like we're living in a universal world. So nowadays there's people from all walks of life everywhere in the world, and balance is, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't call it balance. It's just the fact that I've been privileged enough to get to know many different parts of the world, many people from different parts of the world through my travels, through my work. So, yeah, how would I put it in words? It's richness, and I've also understood that society and myself work stronger the less we have gaps between us. So for me, a new culture is always intriguing. It's nice, it's interesting. And also, if I'm actually based in Finland and someone comes to Finland, it's also a privilege, and I'm happy to show the Finnish culture. It's good for experiences, integration, everything. So Yeah, I don't know. It's just we're all people. We like experiences. We like to be loved. We like to be liked. We like to belong in a group, and that's how society works. So if we want to be strong, we should be able to know each other as well. So
And how everything has started
everything is in what?
in being international, being like open
Um, oh wow,
to embrace like this, like whatever you talked about.
that's a good question.
Like this is
I think I got a restless feet because of my background of being abroad when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, I don't know. Like Pringles says, once you pop, you cannot stop. Like you see so many different, especially like cultural dimensions. Like when you really dive into it, it's like it's so deep, and like everyone has their own story. Every culture has their own interesting topics, and it just yeah, like I said, we're living in a very universal world where you can almost fly from the other side of the world to the other side in I don't know, in a matter of 20 hours. We're not living back in the days when your horse was your only way of travel. So I think it's at this point I feel like I want to know how the world works, and to know how it works is to know how people work. And people usually they're tied to their cultures, which can be symbols, language, groups, and everything in between. So I think I have this almost an obsession of knowing how the world works and how to make it a better place, and that only happens if you actually know how everything works.
How everything works.
Yeah.
Probably we should start thinking of sending people in their early ages abroad to gain certain knowledge of how the world works, or probably to implant the seeds of being international and to believe that the world is your home.
Yeah, and yeah, that's one. In a way, I don't believe someone needs to travel to see. I think we just need more understanding, and if that's the only
But
means.
how to attain or to achieve this understanding? If people are blocked, they don't want to negotiate, to expose themselves to new cultures. I mean, some people, of course.
Well, usually fear is the reason that people either don't want to know something, or they lack the inspiration of finding out, instead of, I don't know, hatred or fear. Or so if we can pinpoint where the fear comes from, then I think we can solve a lot of these problems. And it's good to always remember that all hate comes from fear.
And always we can attain that through communications and having podcasts like Pari Sanaa.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is one of the reasons why we are here now.
Exactly. And I think that at the moment what we're lacking is proper channels. I wouldn't say educate, because no one is. It's not about the lack of intelligence or anything like this. It's just finding the right channels to reach people, and everyone has their own trauma. Like it can be trauma. It doesn't have to be a big word. Everyone has trauma, and that might bring up fear. So I think the main way is to find channels, how to reach people, and
how to transform this trauma into a beneficial, or to benefit from this trauma and transform it into a beautiful thing. In my case, I write poetry. I transform this trauma into poetry.
Yeah. At the moment, I think, well, we all want to belong into a group.
Yeah.
You create groups, and
we're going there. Yeah.
Yeah. This you can see in sports, arts, and all of these groups. They bring you togetherness. They can bring you confidence, safety, and they also really easily act as like a buffer for your, maybe you have traumatized experiences or memories, and they're a good buffer how to express yourself instead of talking or anything. Like it's togetherness. It's very important. So
togetherness is the essence of everything.
Yeah, I would say so. You don't need to be, let's say, culturally intelligent or know every religion or culture in the world. If you have the feeling of togetherness and understanding, then you're going to go far.
Yeah, but we always encounter that some people who benefit from the hate speech, and they try to cast fear instead of love and coexistence. Benefiting from people don't know about a certain group, certain ethnic group.
Yeah, well, spreading hate speech, anything extreme, it usually is the extreme mode of fear. It means that you try to so strongly belong into this group that you actually you're trying to identify yourself so strong in this group that you're doing extreme things. That's what I think, and I think no one is born bad into this world. No one is bad. It's just the life can really take you the wrong direction, and if you don't get the support or the love or the good energy, you might end up with bad intentions by just trying to belong into a group. Like hatred is one way of expressing yourself, and when you can blame somewhere else, you somehow lift yourself up, and it's a very, very toxic way of life. Unfortunately, it happens a lot, but these people are not born to do it. It's something that society does, and yeah, it's a sad way of seeing things.
Trapped in the stereotype.
Yeah, well, that as well. Yeah, stereotypes are very, very dangerous. Some people might think they're funny, and they are funny sometimes, but especially if you're looking at minorities, the stereotypes and categorizing itself, it can be very dangerous for society to create, for example, pockets of certain categories, and that it weakens the whole society.
Now in Pari Sanaa we have the second theme. Let's utilize everything we have to communicate. The Finnish language has often been seen as a barrier, which is true, but is it really impossible to communicate and integrate by leveraging our shared knowledge of other languages? I have seen people connect through a common passion for music or by practicing the same hobby. Is it really impossible to communicate and integrate by leveraging our shared knowledge of a certain language?
Communication can be done in many ways. I absolutely don't think you even need a common language for that. Communication is it's about understanding the other person, and this can be done through many channels. Integration, that's more complicated, of course. How I feel from what I've experienced in Finland is that for integration, if you know Finnish, it's easier to burst the Finnish bubble, for example. It's easier to make friends. And how I feel is that once you can actually get through that barrier of learning Finnish, it probably brings you more networking, more confidence, which basically it's a snowball effect. Then the many doors open. So integration can be done without, let's say, Finnish language, but I don't think fully. I think it just opens so many doors, and I would say that, yeah, Finland is a very multilingual country, so it's not that you wouldn't survive, but I think many parts of this country can be reached more easy if you have the knowledge of Finnish language or at least understanding of it. And still, it's not the most easiest approachable people in Finland. So it definitely makes it easier if you have the language. But when it comes to communication in general, you absolutely don't need the same language to communicate.
But in Finland, can you communicate through multiple things? For example, certain people have or share the same passion for music, for a certain hobby, the same sport.
Oh my God, you go to Turku city center at 2 a.m. and no matter where you're from, and you start singing cha-cha-cha, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of friends.
Or probably other things.
Yeah, you never know. You might be served well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know. I think it's like I said, it's it creates some kind of sense of group mentality. If you, for example, you play similar instrument, you do arts, sports groups, it's definitely a way of integration as well. You go to, I don't know, a public sauna with people, and like all this is, it can be seen and it should be seen as integration. But I still think like for full integration, to be able to reach the point where you can actually critically look at the society, which means that you've been integrated almost completely, usually it benefits from you knowing Finnish language. I don't think it's a must, but I think it's definitely a big benefit.
Drawing on your experience, what can we do to better utilize these kinds of communication?
That's a good question. It's at the moment, I feel like for an immigrant, ways of communicating in different ways, it's shredded into parts in Finland. It's really, you find just clusters of people that try to help. I think Finnish society and community is not working as one. So you have clusters here and there. So what I would like to see is that the society comes together more, but then we go into very deep political issues, and I don't think we're going to go there today. But I think there should be more communal sense in a way that we can find ways to actually communicate without having to find those separate pieces of the society that actually organize. So like there's a lot of great organizations doing work for this, to be able to come to activities, groups, recreational ideas where you communicate otherwise, but even without the language. But otherwise, I think it should just be more welcoming to immigrant people. And but there's I go into very analytical mind now, and I start thinking of politics, which is it's tough because in one sentence, I think we should decrease polarization.
So we have now the third and the final theme of this podcast, which is integration and labor market. So I'm gonna ask you is based on your experience. What are the seeds of integration? The early stages, I mean, the early stages of integration. And does integration also require effort from the hosting community?
The seeds, I think it's the seed is the will of the community and the person arriving to Finland. And I also think the seed is to understand your rights and, in a way, your obligations. Because integration it's hard for both parties, for the receiving country and also for the person moving in. It's a two-way street.
Beautiful.
But the seeds, how would I put the seeds? It's the seed, the will should be coming from the person arriving, and the support should be coming from the receiving country. And we already touched the subject already earlier. There needs to be communal effort, because the community works as strong as the common strength of it is. So if the integration doesn't work perfectly, like we have laws for this, we have the convention for this, but if the integration doesn't work perfectly outside, like the laws are just to guide us, but the integration comes from deeper within the community and the person that's coming in. So the seed is the will of the community and the person. So I'm already partly answering the second question as well. And to be honest, I've been the one moving to foreign countries as well. And you have to have the will of creating an environment for yourself where you are able to actually integrate. But this doesn't happen without the support of the community. And I think social inclusion is very important, because if you feel like socially excluded, that is the one thing. I work on a social field, and to me, like my whole point of my job is to try to defeat social exclusion. And there's things called assimilation, for example, where people come into a country and they try to so hard. Now we're looking at the extreme. So hard to try to connect and integrate in the culture that they forget their ethnic past, which is not healthy, because you should not have to change your identity because of arriving to a new country. Of course, you have to adapt. There's no question about that, but it doesn't mean you should forget your ethnic identity. And also there's separation where you feel like, I don't know, you cannot connect with either one anymore, your ethnic culture or the receiving country's culture, which is also very unhealthy and toxic. So proper integration to happen is that the community welcomes you and you welcome the community. So there's definitely there's obligations and rights for both. And the community should never forget this. It cannot be that we tell someone that like you haven't done enough to integrate, because then we have to go back and see why this person didn't integrate. This works with every single social problem in Finland or universally. If we see that something is going wrong, we have to be able to go back and critically look what happened. Because absolutely, the receiving country has a responsibility. Because by law, by international laws, we are required to do what we do, but that can be the only driving force why we do it.
So are people considered or deemed integrated into the Finnish society if they have already secured a job or a work opportunity?
Well, the labor market for immigrants, I can imagine, it's tough. But how I see integration is there's many levels of integration. I think when you reach the point that you're in society, you're in system. Well, actually, I don't like this word system, but that's what it is. If you can navigate through that, look back and be critical about it, I think you're really far with your integration. If you can actually critically look at the system or the society you live in and be able to, I don't know, give a critical feedback, then you've reached certain point of integration. And it doesn't mean that you're just ready to complain about everything, but you can actually understand what is going on and you can critically look back and, I don't know, even try to better it. That's, but we're human beings. Everyone is different. Everyone works in different ways. So it's, you cannot say that there's one way or one goal to integrate, but what we should look at is trying to avoid assimilation, separation, and definitely try to get everyone socially included.
Like I've seen like immigrants drowning on my experience, like when they are attacked, the first thing they would defend themselves saying, we pay taxes. What it means by that? Like why they say that? We pay taxes.
This is
Like how you can, it feels like a barrier to stop something. Like I pay taxes. Okay, you should, I'm fine. I'll pay taxes.
yeah, that's I think that this is the taxpayers club. This is one way of trying to belong to a group. But this is also, it's a very important part of integration is that you can contribute. And almost in every culture, money just happens to be a way to show your contribution. But it's not enough. It's like the fact that you pay taxes, it's not enough, but also it shouldn't be a weapon for anyone to say that you haven't integrated if you don't pay taxes. Because everyone comes from a different background. So it doesn't mean that you're not integrated if you don't pay taxes. So I think the contribution can be done in so many different levels than just taxes.
Based on my experience, I've heard from friends, from Turku and Finland, even my relative people, they said, like, in order to integrate in a certain society, in Finnish society, we're talking about Finnish society, you need to abduct, you need to renounce, to raise your own identity. To what extent?
Well, I wish I could say none, because this is exactly what I'm saying. This is assimilation, and that should not happen, because your identity is part of you. If you have to differ from it, if you have to distance from it, you're not yourself, and you have to be able to be yourself in healthy ways. And unfortunately, I think at the moment a lot of actions that are for many nationalities seen as they're differing from it, or they're doing something more Finnish way than their ethnic way. It's been applauded and rewarded, which is nice if it can work together with the person's ethnic past. I think that no one should ever be able to ask you to forget your past or change. That creates more social problems than the fact that you be able to be yourself and integrate as yourself and bring richness to the community you're integrating to. Because we're past the days that there's only white men running around telling people what to do. Everyone has the right to express their religion, their speech, everything. And when we don't go to hate speech, I think you're free to be yourself, express yourself, say what you think, be yourself, and it's very important for people's identity. One of the challenges in Finland is that I'm not saying that everybody would be extremely privileged, but understanding of people coming from war zones or climate change caused challenges. It's very hard to understand in Finland because you haven't seen it. But still, I would always remind people in Finland that if they're looking at obligations and rights, if you're driving a Tesla, for example, you can just think where the battery comes from, where the materials come, and why is it not more expensive? And then think where it comes from. Why are there people that are in desperate need of help? Most of our resources are they come from ethically very, very well. I would say the ethic backgrounds should be discussed a bit more, because there is reasons why the Western world is contributing to the challenges in the parts of the world where the refugees come from. So I think this is also a very important thing to remember, that it's not only people. There is economical migration as well, which is a completely different thing. But and now we're moving away from the immigrants, and I'm talking about asylum seekers and refugees. But and I'm bringing up because you were saying that I travel ecologically, which I try to do until a certain point because of my privileges. But the more you consume, usually it's away from someone else. I think that's the best way to put it. And it creates challenges in other parts of the world. So I think we cannot just say that we have nothing to do with this. We have nothing to do with any of the problems in the world because we're in Finland.
Yeah.
We have clean waters and trees. We have never done anything bad. But then just look at your import products and see the ethicality behind it. If there's a challenge that you want to criticize, I think we should go deeper than just seeing our Facebook feed to see what is the truth. It's a consuming world at the moment. We're maximizing benefits and profit, and that's killing a lot of societies.
Thank you very much for watching our Pari Sanaa. Couple of words with our couple of words. We're going to change the world, and thank you very much, Juhis, for being here as a guest.
Thank you, and whoever is watching this, remember to take care of your community and make the society a better place.
Stay tuned for another session of our podcast, Pari Sanaa. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.